All good? Excellent. All right. Welcome in, everybody, and welcome back for another week here and another time for you to relax in this next hour. And hopefully we've got a few new techniques than we've had in the last couple of weeks to show you, and some returning ones as well. So first of all, let's get ourselves nice and comfortable. Maybe give yourself, a little shimmy, make sure that you sound nice and comfortable. We want to be moving pretty limited through this first little bit here, so make sure you're nice and relaxed. We're not going to be fidgeting around, so just give yourself a second to do that. And then once you feel settled, let's put our hands on our lap with our palms facing upwards, and let's just close down our eyes. And we're just going to start to do some nice gentle breathing to begin with, just to set the scene a bit, relax ourselves down and bring us into the zone that we want to be in. So just nice and slow breathing here. Don't worry about having it long and deep yet, just nice and gentle in your own time, and just focus on that breathing. And once you've found your rhythm there, we're just going to thank ourselves for taking the time out of our day, this hour-long session that we're going to be going ahead with. It's just 1 hour out of the 24 within your day, and you've decided to choose a great thing to do with this hour, which is time for yourself. So just thank yourself for being here. Thank yourself for being present and being understanding and looking after yourself, both mentally and physically, through this time. Once you've done that as well, we're going to dedicate this session. You can dedicate it to yourself, your own well-being, or you can dedicate it to a loved one, or maybe even someone that you're concerned about or want to reach out to, or maybe it's something, even in another country across the world, whatever it might be. If there's something or some cause, maybe dedicate your session to this. So let's take your time with that if you want to say anything longer, but let's return to the breathing once you've done that. So just start to lengthen it out, maybe go to deeper in the breath. So fully inhale, fully exhale, and nice and slowly. There's no race here to get to the longest or the slowest, just whatever you can do. And every time you breathe in, just think about breathing in the goodness into your body. Just think about the positivity, the enlightenment, everything just coming and flooding your body. Imagine it as a warm light, filling up your whole body with the oxygen. And then as you breathe out, breathing out all the negativity in our lives, whatever that form may come in, both internal and external factors, just breathing that out as you breathe out. And then returning to the positivity breathing in. Just going back and forth between the two in your own breathing pattern. There's no right or wrong way of doing this, it's just your way. So just take the time to really focus on your own breath, your own thoughts. Let's do one more breath in here. And as you breathe out, start to open your eyes slightly. You can keep them soft if you want. And let's start to do gathering the heavens. So as we breathe in, we bring our arms up, gather the clouds, and then bring them down to our level. So arms out to the side, reaching up as you breathe in, gathering those clouds, bringing it down to your level. And again, in your own time. Nice, let's do one more here. Let's reverse that now, push it up through the middle. And then round to the outside on the way down, returning those clouds back up, returning them to the heavens. And one more here. Okay, returning to the normal breathing again. But let's start shrugging up as you breathe in. And as you breathe out, relax those down. Relax right the way through the shoulders as you breathe out. Then bringing it up. Squeeze those muscles at the top and then relax them down. You can even give them a little shake at the bottom if that helps you just to relax it down a little bit more. And now start to bring a little bit more animation into the breath. So as you breathe out, you're going to bend forward slightly, and then you're going to breathe in, lifting up, try and get full length in your chest, open that up wide, and then breathing out. Even use your arms if you want to. You can bring them out like with the elbows tucked in. You can bring them up a little bit wider, whatever feels right to you to help you open up those lungs, to help you visualize it. And as you breathe out, bringing it back in again. Look however you want it to. Okay, let's bring that into a nice close there with the breathing. Okay, we will return to do some more breathing, but we're going to do something a little bit different today. So we're going to go and work into doing some stuff with our neck, and we're going to do some stuff with our jaw and with some other parts of our head, and introduce some self-massage techniques that can help you to relax these areas a little bit more. So first of all, I think it might be quite nice to start with a mini scan. So what we're going to do is scan through just our head and our neck region, and then we're going to return back to some of these areas and focus on them individually. So again, if you close down your eyes, no need to worry about the breathing as such. As long as you keep breathing, that's the main thing. So what we want to do is just bring the focus up to the crown of your head and just draw your focus, your attention to that area. Now, obviously, it's an area that doesn't have much feeling, much senses and all that, so it's hard to necessarily feel as much in here. But all we want to do is just focus on the area. We're not looking to change anything now. We're just looking to observe and seeing how it feels. We're going to make the changes to these areas as we go through the parts of the body here. Let's go down now into our forehead. And if it's feeling tense and tight, maybe you've got it screwed up slightly, try and just relax it down. So let it sink down, the eyebrows sinking down as well, and just focus on that area now, seeing how it feels, seeing how it reacts to you relaxing it. Did it suddenly have a weight off? Just noticing it. Just move down now into the eyes, seeing how they are, the sockets underneath the eyes, around the outside, at the top. Just noticing how it is. Is there any aching there? Is it feeling good? Is it feeling well rested? Do you feel like you need maybe some extra sleep at night? Whatever that might be, just noticing it and just observing it. We're coming back to those areas. Coming down now, let's check in with our nose area. Sometimes it can be tense from being maybe got a screwed up face from doing, frowning or staring at something a bit too intensely. That can scrunch up the face slightly and bring tension into that area, that whole eyes, nose, forehead area. So just let's relax it down and just pay focus into that area there. Good work, everybody. Moving now into our cheeks and seeing how they're doing there. Let's try and relax them down a bit, let them just droop slightly. If that drooping falls into your mouth as well, that's fine. We're going to go to the mouth next, but we're just going to try and do it in our cheeks. Just let that just drop off. You'll notice like a little drop once you do relax it. Nice. Okay, coming into that mouth area now, the jaw, specifically around the chin area to start with, and the mouth. Just noticing how that is. Relax it down. Bring the tongue off of the roof of the mouth and let it just hang loosely within there rather than being tense and in a location. And then we're around to the back of the jaw next, sort of around where below our chin area. There's quite some strong, powerful muscles in here that helps us to chew our food. So sometimes that can get quite tense, especially when we're talking a lot or eating food that requires a lot of chewing, whatever that might be. These can get tired and tense, and just relax that off there. Let's move around now to just behind the back of the ear. There's a connection point here for lots of muscles that control our head movement. So just focusing on that area now, just seeing how it feels. This is an area that we're going to come back to and pay a lot of focus on in this specific sort of area where the neck reaches the skull. So we're just going to pay attention to it, see how it feels. We're going to check back in all these areas once we've done our movements and exercises and self-massage techniques. So just pay attention to it, and when we come back to see if you can feel any difference. Let's move down our neck now, just bit by bit by bit, feeling how it is. You can give your head a wiggle side to side if that helps you, just to pay some attention to that area. And then we're going to stop where you would be wearing a necklace. So if you imagine you've got a necklace around your neck, that's the area we're going to stop at there. Okay, let's go into just a little bit of movement to begin with, just to warm up that area a little bit. So we're just going to start with our nodding down and then looking up. So it's just getting some movement in there, getting some warmth in the joints, and just feeling it as we're going through it here. Notice how your body feels as you're moving your neck up and down. If there's any pain, just maybe go through a slightly smaller range of movement. Any discomfort is okay. It's pain we don't want. And noticing the difference between the two can be really handy. Discomfort helps us to grow. Pain means we need to stop, maybe avoid that area, but just going back and forth between the two here. Nice work, everybody. Let's go into looking side to side now. So go on one side and then to the other at your own time, your own pace. There's no rush, just nice and calm, nice and relaxed. Good, and then we're going to let our hands drop by our side. We're going to bring the ear towards the shoulder and then over to the other side. Back and forth. Yeah, and there's no rush here. In your own time. Nice work. Okay, let's bring our hands up. Now for these self-massage techniques we're doing, you can do this by yourself, either one-handed, by doing one side and the other, if you need the support of the other hand. If you can do it both sides, you can do it both at once. Or if you need to, you can get somebody to assist you with this. Just be careful of how much pressure they're applying. Just go nice and gentle and they can help you out with this. So the first one, what we're going to do is one that we will want to be nice and calm and putting not much pressure on. So all we're going to do is bring our thumbs or our fingers or whatever you can to our temples here. And we're just going to apply some friction to it. So we're not pressing in here. We're just applying some friction, almost like if you're rubbing your hands together. And it's just going to warm up the area. So don't put any pressure into that area. Just get some warmth in there. Seeing how it feels. And if it feels better, I like to lean forwards a bit so I can rest my elbows. We're just getting some warmth into that area. You can use your palms if that's easier, or wherever on your hand means that you can get some friction into the area. And as you do this, you'll start to feel it warming up slightly, maybe even relax off a little bit. And this is an area that can have quite a lot of tension in. There's a lot of joining of ligaments and all that controls our head, controls a lot of our eye movements. And this is where a lot of area can build up tension and get painful. But what we want to do here is just introduce some heat there, and that's going to help that relax off a bit. Good work. Just a little bit longer here. And then easing it off slightly. Okay, so the next one we're going to do is going to actually fatigue some of the muscles, and that's going to help them relax a little bit. So what we need to do is just to close your eyes really tightly and then relax off. And then again, close it really tightly and then relax off. Again. Just going back and forth between closing the eyes as tight as you can and then relaxing off. And what you're doing here is essentially you're fatiguing the muscles within the face quite rapidly. And what that does, it forces them to relax rather than just keep working and working and working. It forces them to relax because they're so tired. And just now they'll squeeze hard that they just relax off. And you might notice that each time you relax off, it might just get a little bit easier. You might just feel a little bit more calm. We'll just do one more here. Don't want to get them too tired, and then returning back to here. Let's go into our jaw now. So what we're going to do is, again, like we did on the temples here, this bit here, I'm going to come close to the camera and show you. So it's this part of our jaw where it's almost where the muscles, the ligaments and all that are in here. So it's the bit between the jaws, right at the back there. And first of all, we're just going to bring that heat into it. and just warm up the area. So no need to put any pressure in at the moment, just get some heat in the area. And obviously these muscles get worked all day. And even during the night when we're doing our heavy breathing through the night, we could be using these areas here. So we're just going to get some heat into it. And this is just a normal sort of massage technique to help it relax a bit, just getting some heat in this area. So let's warm it up. And then once you've heated up, we're just going to apply a little bit of pressure there. So it's keeping that in that area. I'm just going to apply some pressure to there. And you'll know if you move around, you'll feel a bit that is a little bit more painful than the rest. And you're just going to hold on that position until you can feel it relaxing a little bit. Okay, so this is like a trigger point thing. It might feel a little bit weird to do, but you can feel that trigger point. And once you've felt that trigger point, you're going to hold it there. You're going to slowly open your mouth, okay? So you open that jaw up and then closing it back down and just going back and forth between the two. And what we're doing is applying the pressure just in the right point where it needs to help it relax down. So if you keep doing that, we'll just do 4 more here. There might be a little bit discomfort again. Yeah, and then once you've done the 4th one, relaxing off there. Good work so far, everybody. So what we're going to do now, remember the point I said just behind our ears? You'll find it, but if you go behind your ear, you'll find a bit that almost goes in and down. Like as you go down, it comes in slightly. It's around about this area. You'll notice it when you feel it. That's the point where your skull stops and your neck starts. And this around here, and then round the back a bit and up slightly. This is where like pretty much all of like the ligaments originate for our neck. So the things that help us get up and down and round to the side, all those, they all originate in that area. So what we're going to do again, we're going to start getting some heat in that area first. So if I come around to show you from behind, get some heat in that area first. You can use your whole hands here even and just so really get that heated up there. So the part of the hand that I'm using is like this part here, like the opposite side to your knuckles there. So it's like the top of the pad almost. And you can use that and really get that heat in that area. It'll feel quite nice already, just getting it warmed up. And this alone, just getting the heat in there. Don't be afraid to get nice and quick in there as well. Really get that heat in. This alone can really help with headaches just by helping those muscles to relax off a bit. Move it around a bit in there as well. And you might notice some areas that might be feeling a little bit more tender than others. What I want you to do is find those areas by applying just a little bit more pressure. And once you've found those areas, we're just going to press on those just that little bit harder, okay? Whatever you're comfortable with, whether you want to, if you want to do this with one hand, you can put the other hand down just to relax. Or both hands, whatever feels right to you. Just putting pressure on that area there. And then maybe find one of the other areas that you had that were feeling a little bit more tender. So again, just come back to the heating if it feels like you've lost it, and then find that area again, and put that pressure on it again. This is more of that trigger point therapy, helps us to relax these bits off. Nice work. And we return to bringing the heat to it again, just to finish off here. And personally, I love doing this. It makes me feel nice and warm and cuddly inside my head, I feel. Nice work. Okay, good work, everybody. So that is a little bit of self-massage within that sort of whole sort of the areas that tend to get like build most of the pressure here for us. So it's nice. You might feel like your neck, your jaw, a little bit looser, maybe even a little bit tired as well, because we did put some work into it. So that's good. Okay, we will move into doing some stretching now. Before we do so, let's reset ourselves again by doing some breathing. Okay, so we'll just start to go slowly in through your nose, out through your mouth. We'll just do 5 slow deep breaths here, and then we'll go into the stretching. Let's start with our chest and our back. Arms on our side or on our wheels, whatever you've got here, and bringing those elbows forwards and then bringing them back. I'm just going back and forth between the two here. Good work, everybody. So feeling that stretch, I'll come to the side so you can see again from there. So behind and then forwards. Yeah, we're gonna raise our hands up to the side, one palm facing up, the other palm facing down, and then rotating round, and then rotating round to the other side, like we've done the last couple of weeks. So we'll turn to the front, so you can see it from there as well. So getting it all through those ligaments within the shoulder, within the elbow, within the wrist. And we're going to go into the one way. Bring our arm up and bringing it back behind us like we're going to be throwing a baseball or we're a quarterback. Stretching it behind us and just holding it there in that position. Nice work, bringing it down, shaking it off a bit, moving on to the other side. Don't know about anybody else, my neck feels great after doing that massage in there, which is good. Good, shaking that off. Then coming into the lat stretch now, so where we come over to one side, reaching it over, feeling that stretch through the side here from sort of the armpit area down. And trying to pull that arm over, don't just try and fold over, reach over with your hand. Almost imagine you've got something on a really high shelf. You're reaching up to grab it. It's just out of reach. It's got to reach that a little bit further. And that's where you're going to feel the stretch in it here. And then bringing it down and then over to the other side. Back down again, nice work, okay. We have a short break here, just a minute or two. Just grab yourself a drink, stay hydrated. We're still got another 23-ish minutes of the session. So just have a small drink break and then we'll go and move on to some other parts here. Excellent work. Okay, so we're going to work a little bit here on our wrists and our forearms next. So some of these stuff we've done, but we're going to introduce some of that massage again, self-massage within specifically the around the elbow joint. This again, like the neck, there was lots of ligaments that join up together. There's some here, and down in the wrist as well. So just focusing on those areas. The first one we're going to do is working on a stretch. So we're going to do the one where we bring our palms together and then bringing it down and then bringing it up. So just going back and forth between the two. If you need to, you can rest on, or even if you want to rest, you can rest here. For me, if I stay up here, I'm going to fall forwards anyway. So I rest down. There you go. Just going back and forth between the two, feeling a bit of a stretch. And when you go back and forth between down and up, you might feel that slightly shift within the wrist along that lower part of the forearm. Well, they've been doing this for a couple of weeks now, so you might be feeling a bit better in this area, which is good. Or you might be feeling that, you know, if you've done a lot of writing or a lot of computer work, this could be a little bit more, or even other things like knitting, crochet, whatever it might be, whatever we're using for our wrists. Let's reverse that now. So let's bring the palms together and then bringing it through, and then back through to the other side. And again, I'm going to rest down, just it's easier for me. Nice. Okay, so we're going to do that massage part now. As I said, we're going to focus on two areas. The first area we're going to focus on is this little bundle here of muscles. So if I give it a little flex here, you can see sort of this. I'll get a bit closer as well to the camera. This sort of like little nugget of sort of muscle and tendons here, and this is sort of the area we want. It's almost part of the elbow joint. We're just going to bring some heat into there. So this one is responsible for a lot of the actions within our arms, and especially if you bend your hand backwards, you can see that muscle moving there, and when you're here, you might be able to feel it if you just bring your wrist back, and that is what that's doing there. So if you're a wheelchair user, manual wheelchair user, or if you're a you know, doing a lot of standing up where you need to, you know, put your wrist like this to push up, that's where you'll be using that. Or loads of things where you need to like maybe write or type or whatever it might be, playing piano even, this sort of area is going to be doing it a lot. And then just going to put a bit more pressure in there. So go a little bit more firm now and go sort of along the arm here. So we're going to go with the way the tendon works. So we're not going to go against it this way. We're going to go with it, and that's going to help lengthen it out. Nice work. And then we're going to swap over to the other side now. And again, bring some heat into that, bring some healing and all that into it. When we bring the heat into it, the reason we want to do that is because it helps send blood to the area. Okay, so it's like, oh, it needs to be here. So the body goes, need to send some blood to that area. And you're almost causing like a little bit of micro trauma. And that sounds a lot less, well, it sounds a lot worse than it is. Micro trauma is actually good. It helps us repair. It's what happens when you exercise really hard and then the next day your muscles are aching, but then they grow from that. Because what you do, you break them down, but you tell them whilst you're breaking them down that they need to repair stronger and bigger. And what we're doing here, it's breaking them down slightly so they can repair, so they can send all the nutrients to it, and give it that extra little bit, because otherwise sometimes they can get a bit rejected. Okay, good stuff. Let's move on to the inside now. And this bit is around about here. And it's, if you put your thumb just sort of right where the elbow joint is, and then pull your wrist up, you'll feel that bit sticking out, that bit tensing up and sticking out. And that little ball in there that you can feel, that's what we want to do. So in this one, you can use your thumb, you can use your knuckles, whatever feels comfortable with you using it, because we want to get some real, we want to really get in there with this one. This one can get really tight. So we're just going to go sort of up and down a bit and really get in there with that. And for me, this personally, as a wheelchair user, this is one that really does get tight. All the transferring and then the pushing, this is an area that I always need to be working on. So just bringing some heat into it and then putting some pressure in as well. And then changing over to the other side. And again, and like we said, for the neck, you can do this one-handed. You can get somebody else to do it for you, which is always a nice thing if you can find somebody to do it for you. Just putting some pressure in there, but mainly put some heat in there. They don't need to be an expert at massaging, just to put some heat in there. You know, just rubbing the skin, putting a little bit of pressure can really go a long way into helping it. In fact, that's majority of what massage work is just bringing heat into that area. Okay, nice work. Good. Okay. If you want another drink, feel free to do so. We've been rubbing our muscles and ligaments quite a bit. So yeah, it's good to stay hydrated. So if you want another sip of your drink, and then we'll move into doing some of the flow stuff next. Okay, nice. Let's start off really basic to start off. We do our spine movements. So we do our extensions and then down into the flexion. And then just back and forth between the two here. Just getting some good movement in there. Remember, we want to curl over, not bend over. And then we want to arch as we come up, not just sit up straight. Nice, then to rotation next. And into the lateral flexion. So that's where we reach down to one side and then reaching over down to the other side, just back and forth between the two. Nice and calm in your own time. You just want to get that movement in there. And don't worry if you can't get down really far on either of these, any of these movements. Don't worry about how far you can get, just worry about getting the movement in. Nice, and then we're finish off these little spinal movements with in our whirlpool, so just going around in a circle. And change direction. And once you're at the end, you can say, we're not in Kansas anymore. Let's do another flow movement here. So we will do our one where arm on the lap, we point behind us, then we point up to the sky, and then we're going to thread that needle through the gap that we've created with the arm. And then changing on to the other side. Remember, if you can't use your arm, you can just rotate around, look behind you the best you can, and then rotated, lean forward slightly, looking up, and then keep the arm there, and then rotating around to the other side, just looking as if you're not using your arm there. If not, just going through that now. I'm pretty sure by the looks of it, you guys have got this good now. So I'll let you get on with it in your own time, in your own pace. If you want to as well, you can pause at the various points. If you feel that's going to help, or you can move through it. There's no right or way wrong at doing it. In fact, in yoga, it's just different styles, much like Tai Chi. If you've ever done Tai Chi or yoga, they just teach it in different ways. And that's just all about how fast or how slow you're doing it, whether you're holding positions or whether you're flowing through it quickly. Let's do one more on each side. Good. And resting it there. Nice work. Okay. As I said earlier, we're going to go through the body scan, but now we're going to go through our whole body. Okay. And I want you to check in and see how it's all doing. We checked in and we did some work on it on various parts. So let's just check in with our whole body now. So closing your eyes down and bring the focus to the top of your head. No need to focus on how you can solve the problems, if there are any, or that we're just checking in. So starting at the top of your head, moving down now into your forehead. And seeing how that is. Is it helps from the movements and the massaging we've been doing. And we did the scrunching of our eyes and the temple massage. And moving down now into our cheeks. Our nose. And our jaw. And again, this is an area that we put a lot of focus into. And don't worry if it's still aching or that could just be, we put a lot of work into it, so it might be just tired from that. And also these things don't just happen overnight, it takes work over time, much like exercising, recovery work as well. You won't get flexible overnight, you won't be able to massage away a problem overnight. This takes time and consistency. Let's go round to the back now, but behind those ears and where the neck meets the head. Seeing how they feel. Again, they might be feeling a bit tired, and that is fine. No worries there. And let's go down our spine through the neck area to where it reaches our necklace area, and then going out towards the edges into our shoulders. We did some stretching through here today, through our shoulders. And then let's go down into our arms, both the biceps and the triceps, seeing how they are at the front and the back of each arm. And then down to the elbow joint, where again, we did some self-massage, seeing how that's feeling. It could be a little bit tired, could be a little bit achy. from the movements we've been doing. We've put a lot of micro trauma into there, which is going to be good for helping us to repair in a more stretched position. And that's what we want. Going down the forearms now into our wrists, where again, we did some movement in there with the praying, both palms together and palms not together, back of our hands together, and then into our hands and down our fingertips. Let's bring the attention now back into the middle part of our body through the chest, where we did the stretching today, just focusing on it, seeing how it is, and then move the focus around into the upper back and the back of the shoulders there, where they again have some stretching, had some movement in there, all good stuff. Let's move down our spine through the vertebrae, seeing how they are. They might be a bit achy and sore from the movements. They could be feeling good and loose, or even a combination of the two. They could feel loose, but also tired, and that's fine. Let's go into our stomach. And obviously we haven't done much work here today, but we have still probably been eating and all that stuff. So just checking on it and seeing how it feels today. Down into our hips now, noticing how, if there's anything there. And do not worry if that's an area that you can't feel. Just putting some focus and attention and some effort into noticing how it is. And if there is anything you can feel that there's a change from last time you've done this, or whatever it might be. Moving down the upper legs now, at the front first of all. And again, just checking in on it, seeing how it's doing. And then the back, the knee, and then the calf muscle. Good, and lastly here, going through the ankles, the feet, and the toes. Keep your focus down there in the toes. We're going to do our big breath in, starting from, imagine you're filling out the body with oxygen from the toes all the way to the tip of your head. And then breathing out. 2 more of those. Keeping those eyes closed. Actually, we have got a little bit of time to squeeze one more thing in here. So we close our eyes and do our gratefulness part at the end. I just want you to open up your eyes and just come back to reality for a second, and then we'll go back and thank ourselves for being here. So I just want to show you another thing for helping you with any times that you're feeling anxious, or if you're feeling anything, any pressure or stress. Another little way, because I feel like there's never one right way or one perfect way of doing it, is the way that works for you best. So in the past, we've done the body scan like we've done the gratitude scan in terms of, and then the senses one. So being, having the senses. So this is just another one here today. So imagine your hand, because it's right there. What you're going to do is just pinch your thumb, not hard, but semi-hard, and just notice how that feels, and just then start breathing into it. So just breathe into the pinch. And if you can't pinch for your hand control, you can always put it down your lap and then put the pressure on top of it. So that's the other option if you can't pinch. And then just breathing into it, and just focus on how it makes you feel, and focus on the breathing at the same time. Then move on to the next finger, your index finger, just doing the same. Now your middle finger. The ring finger. And the little finger. Just do a couple of breaths on each one. Onto the other thumb. Just going along those fingers in your own time and pace. Just do a couple of breaths on each one. Reach the little finger, bringing yourself back to eyes closed, palms facing upwards. You can either bring your hands together into a prayer position, up by your forehead, however you want to do it. There's no right or wrong way of doing it. This is your practice. And let's just thank ourselves again for being here, congratulate ourselves for the hour that we've had, whether that's a pat on the back, whether that's just a thank you in your own head, whether that's however you want to do it. This is very individual to yourself. I'm just giving you options here of how to do it. And then close down the dedication of what you've done to the session. Hope that it's given you the tools to be able to move on with today and some other days ahead, and to also send out and hope that this has some resonance with the thing that you dedicated the session towards, whether that's yourself, a loved one, a cause, something that's happening around the world, whatever it might be. And again, thank yourself for being here. If you haven't already, let's put our palms together, our heads, give ourselves a little smile, and we can say namaste. And thank you very much. And that is today's session done. Thank you very much, everybody.